Senator Capito, and then Senator Shaheen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank the three of you and all those who serve with you and for all of us. I appreciate it. I wanted to say my colleagues have been talking about the Air Force bases in their relative states. Well, I'm going to say there's not one in West Virginia. But we do have some great units, airlift wings, the 130th and the 167th that have been called on numerous times throughout the years of my service. And I'm very grateful to them and grateful for the role that they play. So before I start the main question, I wanted to ask you, General Allvin, in your opening statement, you mentioned something when you mentioned the number 3,000 people who want to be in the service but cannot because of the continuing resolution. How does that, there's not enough fund to onboard them? Is that, so what do you do here?
Well, we had the resources and we had the successful, thanks to the recruiters really working hard, we had the opportunity to be able to assess 3,000 more. And we were on course to do that. But when we got the continuing resolution in the middle of the year, and part of that was also unusual for a continuing resolution in that this continuing resolution also had a mark. That mark was specifically against the MilPERS account. So to be able to onboard additional, we would have had to have MilPERS to be able to pay them so we wouldn't go anti-deficient. So because we didn't have the resources, because that was pulled, we then back lowered our goal to meeting what we had at the beginning of the year. So we had the opportunity to get those 3,000 back, and we had planned to until the continuing resolution yanked the money.
Well, in my view, you've been asked, everybody on the panel has been asked, what's the effect of a CR and what's the detriment to a CR? In my view, what you just told me, not being, after sitting here year after year hearing how we're not meeting recruiting targets, we can't get enough people who are interested, we're trying to refashion the way we're recruiting. You're saying we have people on the cusp and because of this continuing resolution unable to move forward. To me, that's probably one of the best examples ever of why a continuing resolution.
Yes, and I don't know if that just specific to this continuing resolution, because this is the first time,
right,
I'm not a pro, that I'd actually seen marks in a continuing resolution.
Right. Well, let me ask you about operation that we just did last week. I would like to ask you, General, really, I think General Kane just gave a press conference earlier right before we came and really methodically worked through the preparation and the talent that was needed to do that. I want to give you a chance to sort of give your version, shortened version of where you see that and what kind of training was necessary to.
So first, let me say thank you for the opportunity, and I want to respect the fact that I could go 40 minutes. I
Right.
will try and be very brief. I think Chairman Kane did a fantastic job about talking about what it took to ensure that the weapons were loaded correctly, to ensure that the aircraft were launched and they met their parameters, to ensure that the actual weapons hit the target and then the weapons operated as they were intended to do. The other part is, I would imagine, how many people involved in all of this, from the people who imagined the bomb, who designed it, who developed it, who tested it. There's a lot of success to go around here, to all that entire tanker bridge that brought them there and back. I think every one of those people, one of those airmen that was a part of that mission, they may not have fully understand the geostrategic impact it had, but they knew that was their job to do, and they knew that the mission depended on them, but they weren't the only one doing the mission. So I know those B-2 pilots were pretty glad they got the gas when they needed the gas, et cetera, et cetera. So this was a fantastic success, but I want to steal what Mr. Chairman said as his opening. Military primacy does not happen overnight.
Right.
This is one of those that we're so proud of all of the work we put in ahead of time, and this manifestation is another demonstration that the Air Force makes the ridiculously complex look routine, but that doesn't come without effort. So thank you for letting me expound on that.
Well, thank you for that. And just to move quickly to the GBU 57 that was used, the bunker buster, do we have in the budget a replacement for these? I mean, how many were actually used? I don't know if that's called classified
the
piece
use
of information.
isn't how many we did use 14 on this. The inventory, we are still adding to the inventory. I sort of leave that maybe for another discussion. However, this is not a static environment. So now that we know that it was successful, I'm pretty sure that people who are potential adversaries might look at that and they may adapt. So we are constantly looking at
Right.
whether it be those or an advanced technology or advanced tactics to be able to get ahead and make sure when, as the threat moves to defend, we have the ability to put the kit together that can continue to have events like last Saturday night happen if we're called upon again. It's constantly moving forward. So it might be something different than the GBU-57, some advancement based on what the enemy might do.
Well, thank you, and congratulations again. Thank you.